Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, the 8th of July, and I've called this Courageous Wednesday. It follows on kind of from Manic Monday, to be fiercely wild about what we did with our lives. So, welcome to Courageous Wednesday. Now, continued thanks to all our courageous frontline workers. I don't think we're out at the other end of the tunnel yet, so we need to keep on thanking them for all the work they're doing and taking care of all of us. Today is about dumping fear and moving more courageously on with your life. It's usually fear that holds us back from everything. That little voice in your head that tells you, oh, be careful, oh, wait, oh, don't do that, oh, watch out. It might be difficult, might be too difficult, there'll be problems, there'll be challenges, and you continue to listen to this. And the one in your head you probably hear from yourself and from others is, oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Well, they're not you. So you need to be you and ask yourself the question, do you let fear dictate your life, your decisions? If you do, then you're just holding yourself back from realising inner success, happiness, creating the life you want and your true potential. I've talked about this before, and of course I'll say it again. I feel sometimes that some of these live videos, I'm like a broken record, but then hopefully I'm creating good habits in you. So stop being afraid. You need to, of course, to do that, you need to open up. You need to be more vulnerable, and you'll find that opportunities will come to you. You'll be more confident. Your self-esteem will go up. But accept that you have fears. That's okay. It's okay to be afraid. But identify what it is that you're afraid of. Once you identify the fear, you can then overcome it. Face your fears. If you're afraid of a certain thing, like spiders or snakes, you can seek professional help to overcome them. What they do is often they get you to handle them. Now I've got a wee story here because I am afraid of snakes. I don't really like them. And I know that nature's full of all sorts of animals and things. It isn't something that I'm very fond of. But a few years ago I was abroad. In fact, I've done it twice. It was once in Thailand and then once in Australia. I was taken to a snake farm. And I thought, right, face the fears. Well, the chap at the door was kind of holding this massive, or at the entrance, was holding this massive snake, and its head was going like this. And do you know, I was mesmerised, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. I wasn't quite sure whether I wanted to touch it yet. But then when I was in Australia, I also went, there was an open kind of zoo, I suppose, but they had a snake section, and I'm drawn to it. I mean, it's crazy. I don't like them, but you're drawn to it. Not sure that people who hate spiders do the same thing, but I don't mind spiders. I can move them. But the snakes, I was drawn to them. I have to go and see them. And I kind of look and then I turn away in that kind of fear. However, this time I did actually manage to touch one. Didn't hold it, but I did touch one. And you know, it was warm. It was, I don't know, we always think of these things as maybe being sort of slimy and cold, but it's not. So I came home, and believe it or not, my daughter had arranged a birthday party for her granddaughter. And locally, we had somebody who brings animals. And of course, one of them was a snake. Well, my granddaughter, I think, she was 7. She had this great big snake round her neck, had no fears at all. Well, I didn't follow her. But anyway, the point is, try and face your fears. And if you're really frightened, you can seek professional help for these. The next thing is to be positive. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Accept compliments. I was never very good at that, and lots of us us aren't. We make excuses, you know, somebody said, oh, you're looking nice. You go, oh, it must be my hairdresser, it must be my new dress, etc. But just accept it. Don't start making excuses. Accept when people give you compliments. Accept when people do nice things for you. I've got a dear, dear friend who's in her late 80s, and she just doesn't seem to be able to accept people doing things for her. Well, she accepts them, but she's always wanting to do the same back. And I keep saying to her, people are doing these things because they love you. And, oh, no, I'll need to repay so-and-so, I'll need to do it. And it's just, maybe it's a generational thing, I don't know. But she is someone who finds it very difficult. So stop being that way. If somebody wants to help you and be kind, accept it and just thank them. No excuses. When you're able, you're then able to pay them back maybe that compliment or that kindness. Now, to be courageous, you need to reduce your stress. You're more likely to experience fear when you're exhausted, when you don't eat well, when you're maybe not sleeping well. So you need to get enough sleep. You need to eat as well as you can. And remember to take breaks. So that will reduce your stress and will help you. And you'll be less afraid. You need to also show you have courage. Now, you can do this by doing something new or innovative. And I think throughout this kind of lockdown period, lots of people have had the courage to do something new. Now, some people have been doing something within their house, so they're baking, they're helping the kids with homeschooling, finding new ways of doing things. But there was a social media post, I don't know who started, I can't remember, but it was like the lockdown. And people who have never performed maybe in public have actually shared their singing, their dancing, their playing of musical instruments. It's absolutely stunning, and they're getting lots of reviews, some amazing voices and talent. So that's really showing courage, and perhaps it will take them on to have more courage in the future, not just when it's lockdown. Don't worry if you fail. Remember, I've said this before. You learn from your mistakes. You learn more from your mistakes and your failures than you ever do from your achievements. Keep moving forward. Don't quit. Keep moving forward. Jump over that wall of fear or push through these challenges. It's a difficult one because I think when you do fail at something, your self-esteem and your confidence drops. But it might be, maybe it's a British thing. The Americans don't seem to bother whether you've had bankruptcies, whether you've failed. They sort of hail it as, oh, this must be a tremendous person here, because they've continued. They've gone on. They haven't quit. In Britain, sometimes in business, it's seen as, oh, you know, hasn't maybe had a good business head because he's failed. But we fail for all sorts of reasons. The only thing you can do about failure is not ignore it. You need to learn the lessons that you were meant to learn from it. Also now, fear. You need to learn to deal with uncertainty. Life is uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen in the next minute, the next hour, the next day. We just don't know. So those who deal with uncertainty, they find opportunities open up for them. For example, I dealt with a few people a few years ago. It was returners to work, and it was very, very interesting speaking to them, because some had lost their job through no fault of their own, and there was a couple sort of in that situation, and it was interesting how they both dealt with this differently. One of them, who lost her job through no fault of their own, I think the business had closed, they didn't get redundancy money, and the other person was the same. Now, the one who was coping better was the one who kind of threw off that, saying, well, it wasn't my fault. I now am free to do something different. So she took a positive approach to this. They were both women, but it can happen to men as well. The other lady was kind of full of bitterness. You know, why did it happen to me? And I didn't deserve this and whatnot. Now, what happens is, and I was trying to point this out to them, if you're in that kind of negative mode and you're blaming everybody, that will shine through if you go for an interview for a job. It will show in your face, your body language, your tone of voice. So I was trying to say to them, you need to turn this around and think, well, right, can't blame that, move on. You can be upset by what's happened, but if you deal with it negatively, it will impact on your performance, whether that's at interview, whether that's in your life. Very, very difficult, I know, but I've been there. I know what it's like, and I don't know where my positivity came from, but I feel as if I kind of had it from very young. I tended, if things hit me and were thrown at me, I thought, right, shrug it off. Well, not quite shrug it off. I'd be upset at the time. I need to turn that into something I can learn from and move on. And I've always had a passion for that. Perhaps by sharing what's happened to me will help others understand. Because sometimes when I know if I've been speaking somewhere and I look very confident, I feel confident because I'm passionate about what I'm speaking about. And people will come up to me often and say, oh, but you don't know what it's like. Well, they don't realise that actually I probably do. I've had many challenges, like many of you. So it's when you have these challenges, I think you can have more understanding, more empathy. So I have been through things, but I'd like to think I take a positive view on it. I also keep learning. I think that's something, sadly, youngsters now, young people who are going through maybe their degrees, their qualifications. I know, again, dealing with lots of students, they've maybe got a PhD, even their doctor so-and-so. They think they know it all. Now, I'm sorry, I keep saying to them, the learning starts after you've got your qualifications. That's when you start learning from life. You're applying your qualifications. So those who do better are a bit more humble about their qualifications and go, do you know, I can learn a lot from these other people. And that was particularly true, I think, in the psychology world and in the counselling world. Many years ago, when I was working beside quite a low, probably poverty-stricken area, but there were counsellors in that area. Now, they weren't qualified psychologists. These counsellors were the granny of the tenement. They saw everything, watched everything. They kind of cared for the whole close. And some people are just natural at doing this. So they have these just inner, innate qualities and talents, and they were fabulous. So people should know what, the children were up to, what the youngsters were up to. She even would give them maybe a row. So she was somebody, the go-to person. Now, I'm not saying obviously they're fabulous counsellors, people highly qualified. That's fabulous. But there are others who just seem to know what to do, know what to say. And I would learn from them. And if people say to me, oh, I'd love to work with you, but I've maybe not got this doctorate, I like having or being with people who have the university of life. I think life experiences bring so much more. So if you've got the qualifications, that's fantastic. But try and think of your life experiences and bring these to whatever you're doing. So learning, this is all about keep learning. We never stop learning. Improve your skills, improve your talents. Take any opportunity that comes to you to read books, read information on anything you would like to do. So don't quit. Stay on course. Don't hide away from the fear or the challenges. Often fear, well, nearly more than often actually, fear is in your mind, it's in your head. And of course, sometimes the people who boast about what they have, actually there's a bit of fear in them as well. They're kind of couching their fear in, oh, look at me, I've got this. So I think having a bit of humility is really good as well. I think I mentioned this on Wednesday, I've mentioned it on Monday, I've mentioned it before, but along with your rights come responsibility and accountability. So please be responsible and accountable for your own life. Don't blame others if you're held back. See whatever happens to you as a way of a choice that you have. You can either keep blaming or be negative or be positive. So you can use an affirmation like, I take responsibility for my life. And use your creative imagination to see yourself where you want to be. Of course, using your imagination is not enough. You can't just sit at home and think, oh yes, I imagine myself being such and such. You need to take action as well. So when you take action and using your affirmations and your creative imagination, you can achieve your dream. Opportunities will open up to you. So you need to affirm some affirmations, simple ones. Because when I'm giving these talks, sometimes I think, my goodness, I've talked for maybe half an hour. It doesn't need to be that way. The ABC is quick for you. It's simple affirmations. I am not afraid. Close your eyes and just in your head, if something's bothering you, just, I'm not afraid. Another one you can see is, I can achieve anything I want. I can achieve anything I want. And then go for it. Make up your own affirmations as well and start believing in yourself and believing in your affirmations. And when you are more positive and use the positive affirmations, your self-esteem, your self-confidence will go through the roof. It will improve. Believe me. So another affirmation could be, I am confident. Now, even when you're doing something that's maybe quite frightening for you, maybe you've been told to give a talk to 100 people in your organisation. I don't know, it could be telling about different aspects of the organisation during this lockdown. And you suddenly think, I have to face all these people. What will they think? Everybody has some kind of nerves. I worked with a chap many years ago when I was in the courts, and I just so admired him, and I just looked up to him, and I said to him one day, I wish I could be like you. You just have no nerves. You just go forward there and the right words come to you. And he just looked at me and he said, oh, no, no, no. The day I don't have nerves is the day I quit. And he said, because you need some kind of nerves, not fear, but some kind of nerves, just to give you that boost of energy. And so I learned a lot from him, and I thought, right, my affirmations, I'm not afraid, but I need to know my subject. So he had preparation. So key to anything is prepare, prepare, prepare. Get your research done, whatever you want to do, research it so you've got the knowledge. And then let the nerves kick in, these butterflies in the tummy. But if you go on, whether it's on stage or speaking to anybody, take your deep breath, the deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then out through the mouth. Take 3 deep breaths, and that will calm you, but also energize you. And if you know your topic, you can speak to anybody, whether it's 2 people or 2,000 people. And you will come across as somebody with knowledge and somebody who's confident. And it's all right to falter when you're doing something. I mean, when I'm doing these live videos, I sometimes forget about what I'm going to say, but be able to kind of laugh at yourself. And if you can turn it around, I sometimes am told, oh, you were quite funny. And I didn't really mean to be funny, but it's just my turn of phrase. So don't worry about these things. So remember, to make things happen, it takes hard work. But anything worthwhile takes hard work. So always remember that. Be self-motivated. Encourage yourself and be resilient and have courage. And you can do it. So don't let fear hold you back. The fear is often the fear of change. But life changes every minute of every day. We don't know my doorbell could go. I don't know what's going to happen. So don't be afraid of change. Change might be and is often overwhelming, but you have the choice. You can either let it hold you back or you can face it and move forward. So again, another affirmation. I am not afraid. I move forward with confidence and just take one small step at a time. Having resilience and courage, these are the key to endurance, enduring life. And I know I've written a book about this and it'll be published hopefully soon, but I read quite a bit from an Australian journalist who had interviewed lots of people going through trauma. And I liked what a lot of them said. A lot of them said that we're not survivors. They'd lost loved ones, as I have, and I thought that's a good way of looking at it, because surviving sounds, or it's assuming that you've got over something. Well, actually, you don't. I'm going to get quite emotional now. So do you remember what I do? I do my red door, blue door technique. But you don't get over losing your loved one. You endure. You endure life in a different way. And I loved that. So don't think of yourself as, oh, I'm a survivor. It's not about that. And then the lady, oh dear, her name's gone from me just now. I've talked about it before. A Holocaust survivor. She talked about, rather than survivor, is enduring. You endure things in a different way. So you never forget your loved ones. My son's with me always. I've got my nice ashes into glass pendant. So, and I think I told the story about my earrings I had, and when I was coming back on a long haul flight, the attendant whipped my speakers off, the wires, and it caught my earring and it flew across the plane. Now, I was devastated at the time, but then I remember seeing, I think the flight attendant said, oh, the cleaners will sort that. Well, it was a tiny earring. And somebody said, what are you going to do? I said, well, I hope the cleaners might find it, but I think that's an impossible thing. So I said, you know what? I just imagine he's flying round the world now. No fears, no pain. He's somewhere, anywhere. So that was trying to turn something kind of devastating into that. Still, these things, as I say, are emotional, but I don't want to sob and uncontrollably just now. I can do that later in private, because I don't always have a smile on my face. But I just do my red door, blue door technique. And there's lots of things you can find by going back to some of the other videos, or they will be on my website. So remember, have resilience and courage, and you can endure life. Using my ABCs, you'll help realise your true potential. They become a good habit, and you fill your mind with positive thoughts. So the affirmations for today are, I am resilient, I have courage, I know I can realise my true potential. And then I always finish with a Mind Bites meditation. These are mindfulness meditations. And the one I've chosen today is Your Safe Place. Very effective to help you feel confident or safe. It reduces stress and helps you to be courageous. So, as always, we sit our feet grounded on the carpet. If you're outside, that's fabulous in nature, but keep your feet grounded and close your eyes and just take a deep breath in through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. Take another deep breath in through the nose and then exhale, letting all the tension and anxiety leave your body with this breath. Now imagine yourself in a place that you like to be. It's your safe place. This can be anywhere. Somewhere you like to go to dream or just sit. It's a place where you feel safe. This is your place. All around you, you feel safe. You feel comfortable. You have no fears. This is your safe place. You can take yourself there anytime you want or need. Now take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then exhale through the mouth. Take another deep breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, release all that anxiety and tension. You are no longer stressed. You feel calm. You feel safe. Now you can open your eyes and just shake your shoulders. We call it shugle up here in Glasgow. Shake your shoulders and then maybe a big stretch and yawn, and just can end with saying in your head, I am no longer stressed. I am not afraid. I feel calm. I feel safe. So I hope you've enjoyed that. That's a short mind. All my meditations, my mind bites are short. They're enough to do. I think that's just a couple of minutes, could be less. It's enough to just ground yourself and let the stresses of life ease away. So, virtual hugs. Thank you to everybody for watching and continuing to watch. I don't have, I maybe have a topic for Friday. I was going to call it Fierce Friday. I'm not sure what I'll talk about, but I think this week's all about being wildly excited, courageous. I even thought, I thought this was a leopard print top, but I think it's just a mixture of things. So this is my courageous top, being like a lion or like a zebra or a tiger or something. Anyway, you be whoever you want to be. And remember, if you're alone, you can hug yourself. Nothing wrong in that. And if you're not alone, hug everybody. But just now, I think it's virtual hugs still. If we're in lockdown, we've got to stay 2 meters apart. So virtual hugs to everybody. And remember, a smile costs you nothing, and laughter is the best medicine. And thank you again. Can't thank you enough. It inspires me having people watch and listen, and your feedback as well. Thank you so much. And please, if you want to join the Mind Circles community, please do so. And thank you, Carolyn. I see somebody said Fortunate Friday. Yes, we'll maybe do that one as well. People seem to want me still to do these, so it's 3 times a week. So Friday at 10 o'clock. And have a fabulous day and enjoy whatever you're doing and just keep learning. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Bye for now.